PROHITS. Carry out proteomics at high temperature for single cells. Can you briefly introduce yourself?
Hi everybody, I'm Caro. I am in Ghent in Belgium, and I'm a PhD student here at the university and the VIB. And my academic background is more on the computational side, so I studied computer science for my bachelor's and bioinformatics for my master's, which means I have a foundation in programming, in developing algorithms, and in machine learning. But I also learned how to apply these skills to answer biological questions, which is exactly what my responsibility is now within PROHITS.
Could you introduce your project and explain your role within the PROHITS framework?
My main responsibility is the development of tools and algorithms to analyze the data that we will acquire. So this means both for the thermal profiling that we will do and also for the single cell experiments. Now, what is that? In brief, the thermal profiling data tries to capture how prokaryotes behave at different temperatures and how their proteins therefore change. And for the single cell data, that means that instead of what we do in traditional proteomics, is we take a lot of cells, we put them in a mixer, and then we check their proteins. But obviously it would be way cooler if we could have a look at the proteins within a single cell than having to average over a lot of different cells that could be doing a lot of different things at this time point. And both of these experiments, so the TPP and the single cell proteomics, they come with their own challenges. And I am responsible to develop tools specifically tailored for these use cases to make sure that we get the most out of them.
How does your project connect with the work of other DCs?
Now, I will not be alone on these tasks, so I have a lot of cool colleagues that will help me in developing these methods. So for example, for the TPP part, I will work closely together with Kenneth from Bergen, and together we will create a pipeline for analyzing the TPP part data, but more specifically, we will have a closer look at how to visualize the results from these analyses. So you can imagine if you are a person who's interested in deriving biological insight from that data, it's way nicer if you have something visual to look at and to explore and really dive deep into the results. While if you just have like bland lists of proteins, for example, it's way harder to gain new insight. This is what I'm working on together with Kenneth for the TPP part, and for the single cell proteomics part, I will work together with Francis from Cell One. And by collaborating with him, I will understand better how the single cell data is actually acquired and how or which challenges the sample prep, for example, poses to the data analysis, so that I can make sure that the methods that I will develop are specifically tailored to these challenges and that we will get the most out of the data.
What secondments or trainings do you have planned? And what are your expectations from them?
I'm also really looking forward to the secondments that are planned. So I will have 3 in total. The first one is actually pretty soon, within a couple of weeks. I will stay for 1.5 months in Strasbourg at the LSMPO. And together with Sunu and Dinu, I will get hands-on experience on the wet lab part. So I will see how the data is actually acquired for both the thermal profiling and for the single cell proteomics. My second secondment is planned together with Kenneth in Bergen, where I will have the opportunity to work together with him on the visualization of the TPP results. And then the third secondment is planned at Bruker, where I will explore how to integrate the tools and methods that I will develop over the course of the 3 years into their software.
What motivated you to join this project? And what are you most looking forward to during and after your PhD?
So there's a lot of different reasons for me why I joined PROHITS. I think the most important ones for me are my love for science and for pushing our knowledge boundaries, for working on really cool projects with really cool people. Also like going abroad, like the international context that we have within these doctoral networks. It's something really, really important for me. I love going abroad. Also like for the secondments that are now planned, I'm really looking forward to these. And also for the conferences that I will be going on, like just exchanging ideas with people that are interested in the same topics as I am. That's something I'm really looking forward to. And then also I'm really interested in the single-cell proteomics aspect of this project, because I think it would be super cool if we could analyze the proteins, not only from a single cell, but from an actual single-cell organism, because I think if we're capable of doing that, then we are one step closer to understanding how life works. And I think that's something really cool.
How do you plan to ensure that your project achieves its expected outcomes?
Is how we will make sure that we will meet the project goals. And I think there's two answers or two aspects to the question. The first being obviously the scientific goals that we have. So how we will make sure that we can gain biological insight into thermophiles and how they react to higher temperatures. And for me, that means that I will do my best to make sure that we will have the most sensitive data analysis pipelines ready to get the most out of the data, and also that we have nice ways in how to explore the results so that we're actually able to gain insight from that. And that also includes at the start looking at what other people already have done before, what are the advantages of their solutions, and how can we build upon that? How can we improve these methods? And are there any creative solutions that we can also use to adapt these methods to the specific use cases that we have in PROHITS? And then the second aspect, I think, which is equally important, is that one of the goal of doctoral networks at the end is also to train independent researchers. And I will try my best to make the most out of the 3 years, to make the most out of the opportunities that we have within the doctoral network and also within our PhDs in general, to make sure that at the end I am capable of doing my own research, that I'm capable of coming up with important research questions, and obviously also ways to answer them.